I probably could have done a better job at finding titles for this. It was kind of tough. Guys, can you give me a movie? It doesn't even have to be horror if you don't want. Can you give me like a movie that has like some crazy suspension or just one scene that is like, no, there's no way that would happen. You know, it wouldn't play out like that. Suspension of disbelief. Can you think of any movies that have suspension of disbelief? I mean, horror's probably full of them. She wouldn't go in that house. They wouldn't split up. I mean, hell, just on those two things alone, you could probably drop 50 titles. You know? We've seen so many of these movies where, why are you going up those stairs? Why are you going in that house? They make fun of it in the first screen. You know? So, I'm kind of ashamed of this list because it could be better. It could be better. But all the seasons of Pretty Little Liars. Well, I never watched Pretty Little Liars, okay? I might have saw it in passing. But yeah. So, I did talk about this with Samara Weaving. I just don't think there's no way she'd go down that alley. On a first date? Now, if this was a guy that she had been dating for a while, they'd been on dates before, and then she knew him, she knew the situation, maybe. But I don't think, let's say that she's dating some guy. I don't think any guy would make her go down that alley. You know what I mean? Like, guys, if you're on a date with a girl, would you try to entice her to go down an alley to find you? Hell no. So there's like 6 different ways you can decipher this scene, and none of them are her going down that alley. You know? What would have happened in real life is she would be like, well, this is a first date. Do you want to go out on a date with me? Have you seen the way I look? If you really want to find me, you will find me. Okay? Troy, I've seen some people mention Barbarian before as being... Yeah, because there's no way she would keep going down in that house. She would get the hell out of there, right? I think I know what you're talking about. I loved Barbarian too, but yeah, it definitely, I agree for sure. Holly says, I'm sure that girl that was catfished would go down that alley. Yeah, if Dacre Montgomery was down that alley, would you go down there, ladies? Maybe, but you'd have to know it, right? Like, she would go down there though, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Kyle, what's up, man? Better late than never, right? Better late than never. Okay. Well, Kyle, you're on time if you're wanting to catch the suspension of disbelief, because that was the first one, right? All right. Here's the next one, and I'll tell you what, to make this fun, I'll let you guys tell me why you think. Give me the suspension of disbelief for this particular scene, okay? This is Friday the 13th, part 2, the very beginning. All right. So what do you think is the suspension of disbelief in this scene? For me, I'm thinking, first off, this is supposed to take place, I think 2 years after the first, or maybe even a year after the first Friday. Jason has went from being a child to a full-grown adult. So there's definitely a time difference that is a mess. CJ says Jason is still alive. He's not wrong. The head in the refrigerator. Yeah, I guess because that would mean Jason had gotten there before and he put the head in the refrigerator. I don't know. So there's just a lot that doesn't add up about this scene, but they had. And I think, if I remember correctly, and I wish I would have asked her this when I saw her at the convention last year. Adrian, is that right? Is her name Adrian? Boy, she was a sweetheart and a half. One of the nicest freaking celebrities I have ever met. Right? She was amazing. Loved her to death. But I think she was stating that when she arrived on set, she didn't know that her character was going to die. What's up, Chester? If I remember correctly, and you guys can do some digging on that, but I think she did not know her character was going to die. She didn't know how long she was going to be in the movie. Okay? But, yeah, my suspension of disbelief for this scene is just that, A, Jason is a full-grown adult and he was a child in the previous. B, how the hell does Jason find her? Jason is kind of a mongoloid. He's not really intelligent. I don't even know if he can drive a car. Have we ever seen Jason drive a car? I don't think so. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. So for him to find her, it ain't happening. Okay? All right, here's the next one. Here's the next one. You tell me, all right? You tell me. Because maybe I'm wrong, all right? Because sometimes I'm not always right. Fast and the Furious 9, when a car can shoot off into space. Man, man, that is the suspension of disbelief franchise. Like, wow. When you jump from a bridge, I think, and then he jumps from the top of a car because she flies out of the helicopter, and so he has to like intercept her, and then his body like lands back first against the front windshield of the car. Yeah, that'll work, right? But yeah, this is The Descent Part 2. I don't like this movie at all. And I should like the movie because it's kind of the same movie as the first movie. But all the emotion is sucked right out of it. And B, it's just preposterous. Because there's no way in hell she would ever go back down in that freaking cave. No way, no how. I've seen some people say the cops made her go down there. I'll have to go back and rewatch it. But no cop is going to make a victim go back down in a cave. It ain't going to happen. No way. No way in hell. They're going to do the work themselves. Cops don't let civilians do their work for them. Especially when that civilian came out of a cave and she had physical and mental damage done to her. No way in hell. But they kind of had to do it, or otherwise you don't have a second movie, right? Okay, this is another one from Friday Part 2. I just put this on here because it's really funny. And Robbie Sobel on Killer Flicks, he said, Vicky, and this is just funny, okay? Vicky in Friday Part 2. As a guy, I could be completely wrong here, but what girl is going to wear poo-colored panties to bang a dude? Those are your underwear of choice? I call BS on this one. Wow. You know, and I'll never see this movie the same after he posted this, because I never really thought about the color of her panties in the movie. I guess that's a testament to the movie because I was into, you know, the suspense and what was going on, but I guess they were brown panties. Like, who wears brown panties? I don't know. Okay. Next one. Okay, here's a big one. This is one that a lot of people have a problem with, okay? And I think I've defended it before, but I'm done. You're probably right. You're probably right. Okay. Tivoli. No way the townspeople would believe that this guy would be Michael Myers. And you know what? The more I think about it, I think you're right. I think you're right. I can't imagine him killing the number of people that Michael Myers has killed, right? There's just no way. Even if, you know, the defense I was making was that, yeah, the people of Haddonfield, they had never seen Michael Myers. I don't think they did, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Did they ever even see Myers, the ones that lived? Because usually if you see Myers, then you're probably going to die, right? But even if they'd never seen Myers, to buy that this guy did all that killing, yeah, I guess I can't argue with you. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And as much as I love Halloween Kills, I got to call a spade, all right? So, now somebody mentioned this one on Killer Flicks. This is an interesting one. Basic Instinct, and this is something I never really thought about, but an interrogation scene would never be done in this setting. That's what they were saying, and the more I think about it, yeah, I think you're right, because like, I don't think they would let the like her have the upper. I think it would more be 1-on-1 or maybe 2-on-1. But even like the way it's set up, it would be in a closed room environment, sitting across a table. They wouldn't have the person in a chair and with almost like a firing line in front of her, you know. But man, talk about a freaking iconic scene. Wow. Basic Instinct, man. This movie kicked off the erotic thriller subgenre in a big way. And after this movie came out, there were so many freaking ripoffs of it and copies of it. Some good, some not so good. Like you had Sliver, another movie with Sharon Stone. But most of them were bad. I think even like Cindy Crawford tried to do one with Billy Baldwin. Fair Game, I think it was called. Yeah. Plus, back then in the 90s, you would have these like love scenes, you know, these erotic love scenes. Even if the movie wasn't classified as an erotic thriller, you would still have movies. What's up, Sebastian? You would still have movies. They would try to slide in like a sex scene. You know, perfect example, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, he would do a sex scene in like every movie he did in the 90s. And I think he at his request. I don't know that. I don't know for sure. But I remember there was a story about Jean-Claude Van Damme where he was on the set of Friends. And I think it was Courtney Cox. She had to kiss him in a scene. And then after, she said to whoever's directing the scene, hey, could you tell him to not put his tongue in my mouth? And so then later she's talking to like Rachel, Jennifer Aniston. And Jennifer Aniston had the same exact situation. She had to ask the director, could you please tell Jean-Claude Van Damme, keep his goddamn tongue out of my mouth? He was a player, though. But Basic Instinct. Yeah. Ashley, what's up? How are you doing? Basic Instinct. I love this. I have it on VHS back there, actually. Love this movie to death. I saw it in the theater when it came out. It was, I guess Basic Instinct was getting the coverage kind of like Barbie does today. You know, two very different movies, of course. But Basic Instinct is definitely better. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Stirring the pot. Damn it. But yeah. That's the suspension of disbelief. But sometimes you have to have suspension of disbelief to make a memorable scene. You know, like this is one of the most important scenes in the movie. Okay. Now, a little tidbit about this scene too is I know, and if you've seen this movie, you know that she literally opens her legs and the camera is boom right there and it shows it. Sharon Stone did not know that they were filming this. And she didn't know until she saw the movie in the theater at the premiere. And she went up to the director, Paul Verhoeven, and she slapped him right in the face after. How dare you? But you know what? Not saying it's right. That was wrong. What she should have known for sure. She definitely should have known. But Basic Instinct made Sharon Stone a household name for sure. Okay, next one. Here you go. Fuck no. Hell no. I'm not going down. Why in the hell? Why are you in this situation? Are you this stupid? What's wrong with white people? Okay, I'm just going to say it. Elephant in the room. Black people would not be going down that thing, okay? That's all. That's white people stupidity. That's what that is. I can say that because I'm white, all right? That's stupidity right there. Jesus. No way. And the guy had been freaking chasing them all day, all right? They see him hauling bodies down there. Is it the right thing? Yeah, they're trying to save a person. But if you see like a dead body being thrown down there, I'm calling the cops. I'll stand by if I need to and watch the cops go in. But I'm not freaking going down there. Hell no. Hell no. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that, man. I was hoping you would bring this scene up. Yeah. Holly, I can't take credit for this, though. Somebody did bring this up to me, I think. Maybe on YouTube, one of my YouTube comments. Or it might have been in Killer Flicks. But it like jumped right out. Was like, thank you. That's a great example right there. But you don't have a movie if they don't go down that freaking pipe, that culvert, right? You don't have a movie, so sometimes it's got to be done. You know, this is why, talking about suspension of disbelief, this is why the plot of A Nightmare on Elm Street is so freaking genius. Genius, because you can wipe away pretty much all suspension of disbelief once you're in the dream world. Because we don't really have control over what we do, at least to the extent that we do in the real world, you know. Probably not at all in the dream world. So once Freddy gets you in the dream world, I mean, he can maneuver you wherever he wants. He's not there to kill you, at least not at first. He wants to just play, you know? So you can get around all that suspension of disbelief stuff in the dream world for sure. Derry deserves this. This situation could have been avoided. Thank you, Freddy. Yeah, thank you. I'd be like Clark Griswold and say, roll them up. God, I freaking love. By the way, I was watching a video today because, you know, you go down a YouTube rabbit hole. And I was watching a video today. Speaking of National Lampoon's Vacation, there was this guy, he goes to filming locations. And he went to Cousin Eddie's house. Have you guys seen this video? And he goes up to knock on the door. And then the camera cuts. And then in the next shot, he's like, okay, that was a bad idea. The guy was like not having it at all. And so when he's talking about this, he's parked, let's say 100 feet away from the house. Like you could still see the house. And as he's talking, you see the truck, like it's a dirt road. You know, Cousin Eddie's house, first National Lampoon's Vacation. You see the dirt spin, the truck spin out on the dirt road and start coming towards the guy. And he says, this is my property. Get the fuck off my property. You're not welcome here. And it was like a whole scene. And I thought this was going to be like clickbait because 90% of YouTube videos are clickbait. Not to say things don't happen, but they're not as drastic or as dramatic as the clickbait would make it out to be. This was as dramatic, and it was very refreshing. I was like, thank God I finally found a video it actually delivers in terms of the clickbait. Yeah, so thought I had to mention that. Okay, next one. And this guy on Twitter, I had to include this. Michael Myers having those eyes in H2O. Because in Halloween 2, Halloween 2 is canon for H2O, right? And what happened in Halloween 2, guys? Laurie shoots Myers in both fucking eyes. Okay? So, does he look like he's been shot in both eyes in that mask? Absolutely not. So, it's ridiculous. And it's not something I think about too often because it's just, I don't really hate the mask, but I hate, I guess, the use of the mask. They should have covered, you know, the black eyes, I think, would have suited H2O so much better. I don't really care for Myers in the movie, but if they would have given him a better look, it's a good fucking start. So that's a big reason why I get so annoyed with H2O. I don't like the way Myers looks. I don't like the way he walks. Yeah, that's not Michael Myers. It's not, okay? It's not. I can't either, Ashley. I just can't. Every time see, that's the thing too. Maybe that's why I don't like H2O, because when I'm watching any movie, I want to be like really sucked into a world, you know? And I don't want to come out of that world until the end of the movie. But when you get to something, and Myers is so important to me in all these movies. And when you see him looking like that, it completely just takes you out of it. You're not immersed in that world anymore. It's make-believe. And I want to believe it. I want to be in it. And that's why I can never do it. Sebastian, Lee, do you usually skip this one? I do. I will say this. I watch H2O far less than I watch most of the Halloween movies. And I could actually do like a ranking of Halloween movies that I watched the most, because it wouldn't be the same as the movies I like the most. And the movies I watch the most are definitely one. Let's see if I could do it in order for you. Okay, I'll do it in order for you, because I don't watch 2 as much as I watch some of the others. Okay, even though I do really like 2. So I say I watch 1, and then I watch probably 4 and 6. I watch both those like constantly. And I probably put Halloween Kills and Ends, because lately I've been watching those like insanely. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I constantly watch that one. I guess it is kind of close to my ranking. Probably then like H2, H3, 5. I do watch 5 quite a bit. So 5 probably moves up farther than my normal ranking, because I do watch it quite a bit. I do love, there's something about 5 that's just so fun to watch, you know, and you can like make fun of it. You know, it's got some bad stuff in it, but it's still highly rewatchable. Okay. But, H2O is one of those that I definitely probably watch the least. H2O Resurrection, I rarely ever watch. I just don't have a good time with Resurrection at all. Okay. Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first one, I rarely ever watch it. I don't like that first movie. It's funny. I love his second movie. It just feels like a different world, you know? Whereas the kind of like Ends, right? You know, maybe that's why those 2 movies are so divisive, because to me, they feel like a different world, you know? And I love that. So, but yeah. And H2O's got some fun stuff in it. And Laurie's great. I'd even say Laurie's better in H2O than she is in Halloween 2018. But damn, Myers is freaking awesome in Halloween 2018. So, yeah. Did I leave any out? I think that was it, yeah. Okay. I really talked at length about Chad, so I don't think I need to like repeat all that. I mean, I pretty much ripped right into the whole scene when we were talking about it earlier, and I don't want to be redundant. So, but it is just goddamn ridiculous. Okay, I'll say that right now. And this is the number 1 biggest suspension of disbelief scene I've ever seen. I'm sure there's others, but I don't know. In the real world, there's no magic. There's no like freaking creatures and shit like that. You know, no way in hell. No way in hell. Okay. Given, I guess, you know, I will say this right now too, guys, to be fair, we're human beings. Are there stories of people surviving things that normally you wouldn't survive? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's not just Chad surviving that. Like, if Chad was the only person stabbed in this movie, then I probably wouldn't have as big of a problem with it if he lived. But given that every freaking character in the movie was stabbed like a Ginsu knife constantly, it just poured more salt on the wound. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. It just poured so much more salt on the wound. And Freddy, yes, he does look a little bit like Cotton Weary there. Okay, but yeah, so that's why it gets the number 1. All right. What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DDLive clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching. And if you want to watch more, you can go over here. You can go over here, click on one of those. And yeah, hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.